In this video, I talk about the price of silver, the different market classes it's correlated to at the moment, and potentially where the price could go in the coming weeks. Hello everyone, it's Sajad. I hope you're having a great weekend. So, an update on silver as promised. Let's get straight to it. So the first thing I want to talk about is a correlation between silver and other market classes. So let me just get on to an hourly chart just to show you this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to superimpose onto this chart the price of the stock market, well, the S&P 500. So let's do that now. So we've got the S&P 500, and as you can see, there's a decent correlation at the moment between silver and the wider stock market in terms of the move from the March lows. So you can see that a little bit more clearly here. I mean, it's not perfect, but remember, silver is an industrial metal. So if the general, a lot of the companies are doing well, especially the industrials, you can sometimes see a move up in the price of silver. Why that's important is, if you haven't seen my S&P 500 video that I posted yesterday, I'll link it up here in the top right. But basically, one scenario for the S&P 500 is another move down before a final, quite decent rally up. A rally that's completely disconnected from reality and is disconnected from company valuations, but more so is a direct result of central bank currency printing, basically. So boosting of the economy and inflating off the bubble. Now, the price of silver may follow that, but what that would mean in the short term is the price of silver could go down before we see a rally. Now, that rally could be significant, and that's one to watch out for, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So let me just remove the S&P 500 chart there. So one thing I'm looking at here is the way the silver price is acting ever since the high in the, at the beginning of August. This looks like it could be a correction sideways. And the thing is, because silver moves so significantly once it's moving, the invalidation point for that is quite low. So it's around the 18 and 30 cent level. So price action can move down a little bit further and still not invalidate another move higher. So the one I'm looking at is, I'm wondering whether this is the top of a wave 3 and whether we're now moving sideways and downwards into a larger wave 4. Wave 4s tend to be complex, which is why this very much could be the case here. And then we'll have a final rally. Now that rally is going to be very significant because I believe potentially if this is what's going on, that rally could take the price of silver all the way up to over $40, possibly even touch the $50 level. And I know that sounds crazy, but silver moves like that. So we went from, $18 all the way up to $30 in no time, in the matter of literally just a couple of weeks or so. So that absolutely could happen with the price of silver. It's something for sure to watch out for. Now, what do we need to see for that to happen? And also, let's have a look at the structure here to see why that could be playing out. But before that, let's just have a quick look at the momentum indicators. I like to do that to give us an idea of kind of where we are potentially in a trend, whether we're seeing any divergence, etc. So I've moved back out onto a daily chart, and what we can see here, if we zoom in, we can see first of all, here at the highs around the $30 mark, RSI was in overbought territory, although it remained there for quite a while. So you can see that's not any type of reliable indicator to sell a potential market. But you can see here we had a MACD crossover, delayed by a couple of sessions. But also now we've had a bullish crossover. However, on the MACD, we're still below the 0 level, which I think is significant. Because if we go a little bit higher, but then we cross over lower again, what you might see in the MACD is a move further down. And then potentially, if this plays out the way I think it could, you'll get a move down on lower momentum, and then we could actually get another bullish crossover, which will push the MACD into positive. This is one scenario, and if that happens, this buying opportunity down here could be a really, really good one. And it's possible we may get some divergence to kind of support that as well, although that's not always the case. We didn't really have a huge amount of divergence here, although you can see on the RSI, this was reasonably reliable. So the price went up, but the peaks in the RSI were either level or moving down. So watch out for that. Watch out for a move down. But basically a higher low on the momentum indicators. That can sometimes be a good sign and increase the probability of a move. So why am I thinking there could be a move down? Well, let's have a look at the structure here closer. So I'm back on a 4-hourly chart, and I like the 4-hourly chart, especially if you're looking for any type of swing trade. Swing trade being anything from usually a few days to a few weeks. And what I'm looking at here is if this is a bigger correction, and you can see generally there's a lot of overlap here, so that could potentially be a possibility. What I'm looking for is a flat correction, and how that would work is a move down, a move back up almost to the same level, and then a move back down to break the previous low before then resuming a trend higher. And usually you get that in 3 waves for A, 3 for B, and then a 5-wave move down for C. That's typically what we see in a flat correction. And you could count this first move as a 3, then a 3 again here, and I'm wondering whether this is a 5. So let me remove some of these drawings and have a look at this closer. So if this is the final 5, what I'm looking at here then basically is, and let's mark this off, a wave 1 here, maybe a 2 there, a 3, and now this is a complex 4, and wave 4s tend to be like this, quite complex, and one final impulse down for 5. So that could be the completion of the 5-wave move, and that's our flat correction, and then we move up. Now this can be a great trade as well because silver moves so high, so fast. This could be a move anywhere around this region between 24 and 26 all the way back down to the 20 level. So that's a decent move as well. So what we sometimes see with classical trading patterns is what's called a bear flag. And what that looks like is basically a flagpole like this, which would be the impulse, and then sideways price movement like this, so like a reverse flag. And in this flag here, you see price doing this kind of trending upwards, but in a corrective fashion. And then eventually the flag breaks to the downside. So it's a kind of a continuation pattern, a follow through pattern. And usually what happens is you see a break of this trend line. But what typically you might see is a break first, a retest of the trend line, and that's a great position to take a trade right there when it retests, because the reason that's a good trade to take is even if it's not, like a 60 or 70% chance of it being correct, you've got your stop loss just there so that if it breaks back higher, you just stopped out of the trade. However, if it does break down, usually if this is indeed a continuation pattern, you'll see price accelerate quickly down. So that can become a very, very good trade. And that's something I'm looking at here. So this all being a larger flag. Now the thing is that flag can continue higher. The price can still grind up. We don't know for sure when that's going to end, if indeed that's playing out. But why I've marked this level here, the 25.88 and the 26.28 level, is because if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, generally you wouldn't now expect the wave 4 to come into wave 1 price territory in general, unless it's a diagonal, which it doesn't really look like. So how far can this correction move up? Well, let me just remove the drawings for a second. So this correction here, the thing about corrections is you typically get these zigzag patterns, but sometimes they can join as well. So you can get a double zigzag. I'll show you now, join together like so, connected in the middle. Let me just show you that. Like so. So it's kind of a combination pattern. And that's why you can sometimes see corrections go on for a while. But the story is still the same. The price will grind up, but eventually when it breaks, that break should be an acceleration down. That's what I'm looking for there. Now, that's not the only possibility. I mean, this is trading. There are obviously alternative scenarios. Can we move up from here significantly back to the 30 level from here? The problem is, anything's possible. The problem is this structure to me doesn't look like it's setting up for an impulsive move back up. Now, it could be the beginning of kind of a diagonal move up. That's absolutely possible, but it doesn't look like that to me personally. That's why I'm not considering that at the moment. So please let me know what you think in the comment section below. By the way, if you'd like me to do some more updates on the metals, so the price of gold as well, and the price of Bitcoin or any stocks, please just comment below. I appreciate the support. I have a comprehensive trading program that takes you through how to set up your charts, understanding technical analysis and market structure, and also how to use technical indicators. If you're interested, it's the first link in the description below. And I'll be back with another update very soon. Thanks very much for listening.